We OG, we OG. Oh no, G. You're not bullish enough. Yeah. Oh no, you're not bullish enough. You ain't got the oh no. I get stoned by the bolo. Bitcoin set to overload. Yeah. Experts on reload. Yeah. You're not bullish enough. Yeah. Oh no, you're not bullish enough. You ain't got the oh no. I get stoned by the bolo. Bitcoin set to overload. Experts on reload. Mempool getting hot. Everybody wanna rock. Ayy. Rooms is coming. Everybody on a knot. Ayy. It's a nuisance. Ordinal Revolution. Ayy. Ordinal Revolution. Yo, it's my guy for real, bro. Got friends right now. Yo, BRC 420, bro. Yo, that shit on fire, bro. Imagine if he in here. Yeah, like it in the seal. Murder. I got balls of steel. Nuki on the field. Yeah, this shit for real. With no calls, I get so far. Got 100 phone calls that I go hard, and they gon' love me. Smoke weed, huddle back. I get shiesty. Where my Bitcoin looking lovely. Started Satoshi's nothing above me. Bitcoin's alive, what you gon' do? Mempool fees are high. Ordinal. Where does it stop? Nobody knows. It's a revolution. Ayy, Bitcoin is the one, no substitution. Ayy, with Shizzy and Yagobi, it's Ordinal Revolution.
Welcome back to Ordinal Revolution. My name is Shizzy. On this channel, we cover the entire Bitcoin Ordinal ecosystem. What is up, guys? We have an amazing show for you guys today. We're live for the Ordinal Hour, and it's going to be a great one, guys. So Yagobi is still out. He'll be out today and tomorrow, but we have my man, J25. J25, you don't know who he is. You're living under a rock, man. He is, OSD. He has a new thing, crypto, call center. It was pretty cool. He did one the other day. I was in there. Yeah, he's really rocking. And if any information that you guys, don't have, these guys have it in OSD. Just go in there and just listen, because it'll eventually be like, oh, wow, let's jump onto that. That's where I get mainly all my alpha, right? Is sitting there as a listener, and while I'm doing my my work on the side there and just listening. So he has a lot of alpha. We're going to get into a lot of stuff with that. So it's really awesome to have him here and really appreciate it. But, we have, like I said, we have a great show. There's a lot of things happening in Fractal, a lot of things happening in Ordinals. Going to get to so much of it. And so let's get started. I'm bringing my partner here. What's up, J25? Thank you so much, my friend.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
Good, man. So how's everything? How's everything you? What's your mindset right now? Like, what are you thinking about the space in general? I mean, we are about to enter Q4, which everyone thinks is bullish, but how are you feeling about everything?
Yeah, I think we're finally at that place where we've all been waiting for and all anticipating. The Fed came out, lowered rates more than expected, or maybe it eventually got to that expectation. But yeah, they're going to start printing money essentially. And I'm much more tuned to the Asian markets. I've been trying to dive into that more. And China is allegedly going to unban Bitcoin and other crypto assets. They have a much more Ponzi-nomic scheme with their like housing market and printing money and whatever, like they've been propping up this alleged housing crash for a decade plus. I remember studying in school even. So there's a lot of talk of them giving out literally checks, kind of like we have in the past, et cetera, maybe being much more lenient with loans again. And that's not great for the long term, but for this cycle, it could be very advantageous for crypto, in my opinion. And I think that's what we've all been really looking for.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that. I mean, we're always worried about us getting a stimulus over here, but other countries are probably going to be doing that because they're in worse situations than we are.
I mean, and they have 2.5, 3x the population of us. I mean, it's a lot more people. It's a token that's spread out over a bigger supply, right?
Yeah. But that's great for us being in Bitcoin, right? Because we all know the Chinese, their chain of choice is Bitcoin. We noticed that last year. So, I mean, if they're all getting these stimulus checks and they like to buy Bitcoin because, their banks are, lack of better words, corrupt. So they like
they're into mining for sure too.
Yeah, well, that's it too. Yeah, they're big on the mining aspect. So yeah,
There's a lot
man.
of them still doing proof of work ETH and stuff. I mean, hey, more power to you.
Proof of work ETH. What's that for Ethereum? No,
It's
the
ETH after like after the ETH Classic fork. It was when the merge happened. So instead
okay.
of moving to proof of stake, another chain went continued proof of work model, but it's $2 an ETH or something like that. It's
Oh, okay.
not
I
worth doing.
gotcha.
ETH Classic is like really the only thing kind of worth mining, but you're still losing it against electricity most of the time.
Yeah, they're probably mining Fractal though right now, right? As well.
That's GPU miner. So the
Okay.
main thing with Fractal is you have to have an old Bitcoin miner. So yeah, I actually took out my Dinosaur S9 and did it for like a week. I got like 0.225, something like that, and used it to get some coins, right? But I was gonna, I wasn't committed to doing it for a longer term because it's probably like $3 a day, and I think I got like $3 in Fractal. So I did it, I definitely lost money on
Yeah.
the overall interaction.
Well, speaking of ETH, the Foundation sells off 200 ETH. I mean, they're supposed to have this ETH to kind of use it to pay developers and
Mhm.
grants and stuff, but they're actually just selling it. What does that mean for the market in general? On top of like, I mean, do they think that we're in a point where we should be selling off?
Yeah, it's definitely surprising. Maybe they want to move into more bullish assets, and even though they're making theirs less bullish. But yeah, you have to remember. I mean, a lot of people got pre-sales for that. Everybody complains
Yeah,
about, the Fractal pre-sale or other tokens, right? And I don't think it's ideal, but it's not 70%. And a lot of insiders and a lot of people getting cheap rates and unlocks throughout a period of time. I mean, Solana's got an unlock coming up in March. We'll see how that plays
yeah,
out during a bull run. That'll be interesting. So yeah, I've shifted most of my bags from ETH. I have some longer term ones that I've just left, usually in like staking or whatever, just to earn something. But yeah, I'm much more focused on Bitcoin adjacent assets. And I have like a Solana bag staking and, say this random other things. I'm into other coins and very flexible, but I know we kind of keep it to ordinals and Bitcoin here.
yeah. Well, I mean, I play over there. I play everywhere. I
Yeah.
put
I know you're a
like
DeFi
eight.
guy.
I secretly that's like I cheat on Bitcoin a little bit, but no, I
You
play
should
in
have different
Titan.
layers, right? You have your shitcoin
Yeah.
crazy bag, high risk, and then you should have
Yep.
ideally once you get to a certain point, intermediate bags, long-term bags, etc.
Yeah. So I
Hopefully
had
you're
an
continuing
Ethereum
to
in a
add to them.
wallet
Sorry.
like last no worries. Last year I had it in Ethereum in a wallet and I was like, and then Titan X popped up. So like day 4 of Titan X, I just threw that whole ETH in there. And that, that I think it was like 2 grand at the time. It's like 8 grand now. But I have to wait for the Titan X to unlock. So I mean you
Yeah.
can still make money over there. And like I said, I just had it in there, so I was just trying to make more of it. So I mean,
Yeah.
I'm very bullish on some stuff over there. So, but
Yeah, I'd rather put
you
it in
know,
like a token that like might stay with the bull run, at a good
yeah.
rate. Rather, I think ETH is going to lag compared to Sol and Bitcoin.
100%. Yeah, there's just no fun over there anymore. Like there's barely
Mhm.
anything to do. So,
Yeah,
all
it's a lot
right,
of DeFi like platforms that you can leave your money for longer term, which doesn't create a lot of hype.
100%. We're getting to the Bitcoin fear and greed here. So, last week was a 39. Yesterday was a 52. Where do you think we're at today?
Let's go 44,
Pretty
right in the
close. We're
middle.
at 50.
Okay.
I think
Dropped it a
you
smidge.
were that was a good guess, dude. So, yeah, you got 50 neutral. Is this telling you anything by seeing a 50 here? Is this people not made up their minds yet?
Yeah, I mean, when the 50% basis cut came out, or sorry, 50-point basis cut came out, I was surprised. I didn't think they would do, 20 more than 25 the first time because generally they start slowly. They want to see how the market
Yeah.
reacts, etc. But it seemed like there was a lot of pent up demand for this to start moving its way, and they have a pretty aggressive schedule for it, right? I think they want to go down 2% by the end of the year, is what they said. Maybe I'm wrong on that, but it's 1 or 2. I can't remember, but I can double check on that. But yeah, like
Yeah.
that was a surprise for me. So the way to take that is okay, cool, rates are going to go down, money's going to start flowing. We kind of expect that. But it's also they had to go to 50 instead of 25. So they're more being reactive than out front is an also another interpretation.
Yeah. My understanding is they want to do another 50 this year, whether that be 50 on the next one
Okay.
or 25 and 21, because there is 2 more,
Yeah.
one in November and one in December. So I'm
Okay.
guessing they want to do a 25 and 25, but
Okay.
it could come out and do a 50. But he said he wants by summer next year, he wants to be in the threes. And right
Yeah.
now we're at 4.75, I want to say.
Yeah. Okay.
So
Maybe it
we're
was the
still
full
in,
schedule was like a 2% something move. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. Yep. All right, let's get into that Bitcoin price action brought to you by the great guys over at BitPerp. BitPerp.io is the website. BitPerp is going to be one of the leading leverage trading platforms in Bitcoin. They're going to be allowing you to do 100x leverage on some craziness on Mr. Yen and some runes, and they're going to be potentially over on Fractal. That's what I'm hearing for these guys. So you're gonna be able to do potentially CAT, like 20x leverage on CAT if you're bullish on it. So look out for that. And paper trading is coming up in 2 weeks, so you will be able to earn BitPerp points. And everyone knows what points are. At the end of the day, you're gonna get something from holding them. So get as many points as you can. All you have to do is make a few trades a day, and we're gonna do a contest over here. If you can beat
Nice.
Yagobi, you're gonna win some prizes and stuff like that. So check out bitperp.io. Can't use it yet, but it's coming out very soon. But anyway. We got Bitcoin sitting at 62,996, or is it 63,100?
Yeah.
Somewhere around 63.
63-ish. Yeah.
63. Okay, so it didn't change up here yet. So it's around 63,000. That's pretty bullish, right? How are you feeling about the price of Bitcoin right now?
For sure. Yeah. I'm definitely trying to catch upward trends. I don't really want to be shorting. Maybe if it got to 68 and higher, we could see some retracement, and definitely it can go down and there could be a good little shakeout before we go. But I'm trying to follow the upward trend. I feel more comfortable in that trade anyways. I feel like I have more to learn on the short side just because I haven't done it as much. So it's the time to, want to be longing and catch those 1,000+ candles that happen in a minute, 5 minutes, whatever. That's why you use leverage, is for quick moves. So that's been my game plan, and that's why I've been learning for the last year more about perps, is just to feel more comfortable doing that. And I've definitely had my swings and misses, but I'm a lot more consistent than I was before.
Yeah. Yeah, man. I'm the same way. I don't look at charts really. I'm just a feel guy, and
Mhm.
I'm usually right in the sense of what's going to happen in a month. So if I take a trade, it's usually a month or 2 months long. You know what I mean? Like I
Yeah,
took a trade at
intermediate.
around
And you're good about being early too, right? Like maybe you don't
exactly.
mint everything, but you see something and it's panned out enough to where you're like, hey, let's go after it, right? I've seen you on the
100%.
timeline looking for cat.
I'm always looking for that kitty cat. No, I'm joking. But well, we've been sideways here now since February.
Yeah.
Completely, utterly sideways. We're
Yep.
finally getting out of here again. But do you see us just continuing this, or do you actually see eventually? Like, I either want to break low or break high.
Yeah.
I just don't want to be in here now. I either Bart Simpson the crap out of this or send it higher. Like, I can't
Yeah.
deal with any more sideways.
Ideally, it's just lining up. We're right. Like this is gonna maybe chop for a little bit here, maybe catch those other all-time highs and then go higher. Like that's what we all expect with a lot of these events lining up. Could
Yeah,
it go lower with world events and things like that? Yeah, but I also think that enough of the supply is getting locked up into longer term investments, has huge holdings that are, pretty much going to sit there for a long time. Like,
yeah.
I don't think China is going to start dumping their bags any soon. I don't think Binance is, you can go down the list. So, and those are outside of US jurisdiction. So, yeah, ideally, we're going to, Shizzy levels, right?
700K, baby.
Let's do it.
Everyone's gonna be like, I can't wait for everyone to be like, dude, I can't believe you were right.
I sold too
Like,
early.
and the best part about it is when we get that high, 500, everyone's like going to 1,000,000. I'm like, no, we're going to 700K. Stop it.
Yeah,
Like I said this from the
right.
beginning.
Yeah.
Stop. And then everyone's gonna be say we're going to 1,000,000, and we're gonna like crap out at like 680, 697. Just like how we did last time. Everyone said we're going to 100K and we crapped out at 69,000.
Yeah.
Right? I feel like we're
Everybody
gonna get the
front
same
runs it.
thing.
Mhm.
Yep. So, but this is pretty big. So, the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission has approved a rule change that allows Nasdaq International Security Exchange to list and trade options on iShares Bitcoin Trust. So, Anthony Popoliano came out and said this is why Bitcoin won't have the gains of the last cycles, is because of options trading, and this is how
Mhm.
the big boys keep gold so flat. They let it go up a little bit, but then they put options and
Because
stuff
they
like
can
that.
pile in fiat into a leverage position, which is just, they turn out of thin air.
Do you feel like that's something that we should be worried about over here on Bitcoin? Do you think that maybe the big gains are over because of the options trading?
It could definitely be a possibility, and it definitely is a concern. I think that hopefully it can be a positive too, though, because people are trying to take risk on during this period. You know, we've had perps technically on Bitcoin all the way back to BitMEX days, right? And a lot of people say that like that was what FTX was doing last round. And I don't know how true it is, right? I feel like the price is pretty independent, and we try to associate these narratives or these stop gaps or whatever we want to call it for why this happens or that happens. Sometimes a lot of stuff just happens and it has nothing to do with like current events or anything.
100%. I agree. Bernstein and 10x Research, he's one of these big, big TradFi bullshit things, but they said Bitcoin's previous bull markets peaked between October and March, and we're expecting the major breakout in Q4. This is, a normal TradFi research company. They're basically saying the same thing we're saying, right? Just we're going to break out in Q4, and we're about 11 days away from Q4. Do you think that these guys are kind of like blowing gas up everyone's ass a little bit, or do you think we're actually going to see that?
I mean, if you're around crypto Twitter, you have to be ready for a psyop. So they could definitely be doing it. But I don't know. I think all of the stats say that like if it dips, institutions are buying, right?
Yeah.
A lot of people that are cashing out are people that have Bitcoin maybe from last run or about break even. You know, they found their old Coinbase account and they're like, oh, some free money. Let me grab that. It's not down 80% or whatever anymore.
Yeah. I agree. So, but it's kind of cool seeing these old companies kind of say, yeah, I mean, it's going to happen. So,
Yeah.
I mean, it's another thing that, why we think it's going to happen, because it happens every year. It might not be exactly the same, or not every year, every 4 years, but it's definitely going to rhyme with the situation. So, but this is one thing. So US spot ETF, bought another 6,500 Bitcoin last week. Are they buying these OTC? Like, I don't understand. Like the price, you would think, every single week, dude, I report on this. It seems like every Monday I report the same thing, but the price just isn't going up. I just feel like, is this stuff OTC to where they're buying it from Coinbase is like back room?
Yeah, maybe portions of it, or they have a plan in place. Maybe like every week, go into the market and buy X on each day, yada
Gotcha.
yada, to try and get like a decent fair price average. It depends, and yeah, those are always good takes. But I mean, who knows where these older whales are pushing their money? They might be, on their way out, and that's definitely a reason to have the understanding that like we could see a downside. This be just like a missed cycle. That's always on the table, right? And that would be terrifying, right? But it's always possible. I mean, yeah, none of us want to hear it and think about it, but I mean, even if it's 1, or a fraction of a percent, it's on the table.
Yeah, 100%. All right, let's get into the roll call here. Let's see who's here. A lot of comments coming in. We have 353 people in here, guys. Please smash that like. Put as many comments in there. If you guys have any questions for us, let us know. Put the comments in the questions, and at the end of the show, we're going to get to all your comments, I promise. But right now, let's kind of see. First is first means a lot on the show, just like it does in Bitcoin. But number one, we got WebDro. He said banana zone soon. I think everyone's feeling the same way. And we got the twins here. These guys tweet back to back every single day. We got the Ordinal chips and Ordinals tweets. Shout out to you guys. Mempool is here. Glass Hopper. Steamy J is in the building. Shout out to Steamy J. And one of our mods, Yasher, here every single day. He says, buy some bags, dudes. You need to put money in them. Shout out to Yasher, man. That's Chief Axel's here. We got my man Pelpa is here. I walk alone here every single day. It's GM. It's a great day to be rich. Let's effing go. Yeah, we're all pre-rich, I think, at this point. Patty Poo. We got Dream Baked. Reziak is here. Jason My Feet is in the building. Zahid, Chain Watcher, Bitmap Gallery, Claudia U, SPI, Mats is here. Shout out to Mats here every single day these days with the Goose PFP.
Yeah,
shout out to
final
you.
cursed one, I'm pretty sure.
Oh wow, yeah.
Yeah.
Zahid is here. RP is here. Shizzy Glizzy. Gavin is here. Kai Effect. Wonder Shorts. Did Shizzy show Glizzy yet? No, not yet. I'm gonna show it later, though, I promise. And we have Chodas.
His block just went through for those orders.
yeah. I gotta wait. You got 80 sats, baby. Sign me up. J25 says Glizzy Gang. I'm not J25. Slimbino says J25 Glizzy Gang. Shout out to Slimbino, man. Another one, guys, always in the support desk.
Yeah.
Shout out to you. Kai Effect, my man Ant-Man is here. KDN, Cyber Rida is here. Shout out to you. And then one of our very first subscribers, I think he might have been number 1. Rocket Dog is here. And then Steve Verse. Steve Verse is another goose.
Steve.
Man, the gooses, man, they come in when another goose is somewhere. So
I
that's
appreciate
shout out
it,
the
guys.
Goose Gang. But that is your roll call for today, guys. I really appreciate it. We're gonna get into some UniSat stuff. So bring this up real quick. So UniSat products release schedule. So PizzaSwap, we finally got a date on it. It's September 30th. Very bullish on that. And then Bull Bridge. Block know about this for anyone else. So you will be able to bridge over your BTC, your B Ordi, and your BSATs. You can actually do that now. I'm pretty sure I bridged over some BTC. I don't know about Ordi and Sats yet, but I'm pretty sure you can. But what do you think about PizzaSwap the 30th? We finally got a date and the Bull Bridge.
Yeah, this has been a whipsaw. I've been in the L1 swap since last year, and last winter into the spring, we were excited about updates allegedly coming, and it just seems that Unisat's decided to kind of go their own way and build on Fractal Bitcoin, obviously, since they released it now. But we were speculating on it, staying with the L1 swap. I've been using it regularly, and it was pretty broken on testnet right away. But the last week, it's been snappy. Like, it reminds me of working on other chains on a swap. Yeah, behind the scenes, maybe it takes a minute or so, etc., for the actual roll up to get on the block. But when you're doing the user experience, I mean, your assets are moving from accounts, and then their index is pre-indexing it when it's in their roll up. And then once it gets on chain, obviously the main indexer is.
Gotcha. But like on layer 1, obviously you can deposit in, but you can't withdraw out, right? Do you think that problem is fixed on Fractal?
I believe so, yeah. And it's going to be with these, bridge assets for SBTC, SORD, SSATs, those kinds of things. And I did hear, like, if you wanted to, you could basically do a ticket and they would send it to you now. So it was kind of open, but not the way we expect it to be open. I think Fractal Bitcoin, with the time and the lower fees, ideally, I'm still skeptical on that because of the mint season, right? Fractal Bitcoin is going to have a mint season where the fees are high and the miners are going to get tokens, and it's going to get, it's going to be dump season at periods, right? So I'm prepared for those lower prices. Like I posted today and I showed the BNB chart and pointed to the first week. Like, we're going to have, some ups and downs. And that's why we're all excited about new protocols, new tokens, early ones, good memes. And yeah, we're probably going to make some trades, etc. But, there's going to be ones that do have kind of crazy runs or could be the next thing on Bitcoin.
Yeah, for sure. And with BSATs being the fee token, correct? Is that still the thing? So so when I'm in there, I'm actually going to go buy BSATs, deposit it into the modular system to be able to do anything with the Glizzy, because I want to do some Glizzy LP pools, but I'm going to have to have BSATs in order to do that, correct?
I'm not 100% sure if it's BSATs, if that's just the staked one, and then it like turns the sats in the pool. I'm not 100%, but like for right now, I'm using test sats. So
Gotcha.
the L1 assets are supposed to be able to green ramp into the other one. So I'm not exactly sure if that's like the simple bridge will then be like SSATs. That's kind of my assumption right now. So maybe you'll actually have to go, if you do use the Bool assets, into SSATs. But I'm not 100% sure. Maybe they take both of them. They just treat all sats as sats. I'm not 100% sure on that.
That's kind of what I was thinking.
Kind of quirks and like if you go to BNB chain, right? You can take this weird stable coin that some chain gives you, and then you can get USDT or USDC and feel more comfortable.
Yeah. And obviously the modular system, everyone knows how it works. You basically send it to UniSat's wallet. They give you a receipt on the other side. So I'm thinking when you send them BSATs, your receipt on the other side is just going to be sats.
Yeah.
Right. And then you get to choose if you want to withdraw to the Bitcoin L1 eventually when that comes, and you'll get sats, or you can withdraw to the Fractal chain and you'll get BSATs. And I think that's how it's going to work inside. I feel like it's all going to be one, with the deposits just being from, L1 or Fractal, but everything being done in the modular system. But like, we can do that now with DotSwap, with a few tokens. Is a modular system considered centralized? Because obviously DotSwap is very centralized. Do you consider that centralized?
So I'm not exactly sure on if they're sending to a specific address with DotSwap or how their mechanics are work. I've heard that it's more centralized. So with the modular system, it's actually code, and the indexer reads said code, right? It's almost kind of like the smart contract style. So yes, there's obviously centralization because Unisat's building it. They're bringing out the first swap, but I'm sure you've seen Pizza Farm They're saying that they're going to allegedly bring another one. And if you look back to the BNB season, right, there was 5, 10, 20 of these, maybe all somewhat adjacent or funded by the same company at the end of the day. But then there were clear winners like PancakeSwap. So, you know, be careful, do your own research, you know, use hot wallets when you're connecting to these new things, experimenting. But there's going to be opportunity to, you know, get gains by trying these things out, whether it's the yields in the pools early on and their farming percentages, yada, yada, or passes, or just whatever. Maybe they have an airdrop for using, etc. Like we all know, you know, in the airdrop game.
100%. Prior to the PizzaSwap launch on September 25th, we'll open source the indexing. Okay, so this is what you're talking about. Implementation of BRC20 on Fractal. The source code release will include UniSat swap on Fractal, complementing our previously shared swap. So basically, they're saying like on the 25th, which is 2 days from now, you'll be able to actually see the code that is inside PizzaSwap.
Yep, exactly.
So
and I believe portions of it, or if not most of it, for L1 were already out, but there's obviously been tweaks.
Gotcha. So if you are someone, you could fork this, right? So technically, you know, obviously they're using BSATs, but if you have a token, a random token that you want to use, technically, especially when they get CAT tokens, you could have everyone could have their own modular system, like at a bunch of different websites. Obviously, whoever the biggest LPs are going to win, right? But you could definitely see this on a bunch of different places.
Yeah, so this is like what the goal is for L1 eventually. But obviously, we're like CAT20 and everything else. This is going to be a sandbox where it can actually be user tested and played out in a much faster, you know, style than waiting for Bitcoin to change and then it failing, and or just whatever. Maybe the concept doesn't work. But within the module, you can send to other addresses, and you're just paying sats. So that's where you really get to this, where BRC20 is a 1.5 layer and is an account-based system over Bitcoin, because you can just have any Bitcoin address, even fractal Bitcoin or on mainnet if it makes it there, right? But inside the swap system on L1, you can send to your other address. Like say you just enter Ordi and you need sats to interact and you already have sats of different wallet, you can put that address in and in the modular system, send it to each other. So if it gets big enough TVL, enough token economy goes here, you could look at like L1, whether it be fractal Bitcoin or main chain, will be for minting, inscriptions, etc. And then this modular system where you can send to different modules even could be the 1.5 layer or layer 2 with the indexing system, or maybe with CAT20 with the tracker system only for the front, like devs and websites, you know, doing the more intricate details, marketplaces, swaps, etc.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that because, you know, my UniSat wallet has the same address as my Fractal and my mainnet. So potentially,
that's the first time that's been done. Like,
yeah,
no other L2 in the history of Bitcoin has done that, to my knowledge.
Well, Merlin kinda, but it's a different address on that side. But it's the same wallet technically.
No,
but
it's that's what I mean. They do a wallet obfuscation or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, you know, when you're on Stacks, you don't have your Bitcoin address. When you're on, you know, when you're on like L2s of ETH, you are right, or EVM style models. And some have gone to like Say, but even they've brought them back. You know, hey, we want the EVM address too.
Yeah, 100%. But like, so when I'm withdrawing, let's just say let's just say PizzaSwap enables CAT, right? That's something that they're thinking about. I was talking to Lorenzo about it a little bit when he did his AMA, and he basically said like, yeah, they're gonna try their best. So eventually, when CAT tokens are in there, BRC20s are in there, I get to basically choose if I want to send them to mainnet or Fractal, right? When I'm withdrawing, because it's the same wallet address, they're probably going to ask you where you want them, especially if Bitcoin gets OpCat. So that is actually a way to get your kind of bridge your OpCat tokens from, you know, a Fractal to mainnet using the modular system, or just keep everything in there because you're going to trade it anyway. So I mean, technically, CAT is kind of on Bitcoin already as soon as it gets put into the PizzaSwap.
Yeah, I mean, like you can actually, we were talking to Harry, UTXO intern from Ordinals wallet, and you can actually send them currently to mainnet, but they won't be obviously activated until OpCat is. But you could do it like a staking mechanism, right? There could be a narrative around that. Yeah, there's a lot of interesting experiments. And that's, at the end of the day, fractal Bitcoin price is going to do whatever. But if this can be a live net where people are actually testing it and user testing it, not dev testing it. That's what Signet and Testnet and Bitcoin are. And they're not well maintained, just like Bitcoin is. And even worse, it's hard to get testnet tokens, etc. So if like Fractal Bitcoin could be like the Kasama of DOT, where they are more open to experimentation and then the better projects move forward. And I know that's a niche example, but that's the cool
I
thing
love
with
that
Fractal.
example.
They've taken the best from BSV and this merge mining and the thoughts of drive chain, and they'll probably experiment with BitVM, etc. So they get actual users that are just bombarding and literally trying to break the chain every day, like we do in OSD, and get real data rather than, yes, my code works and 3 people can click a button. That's not going to be stress tested. And that's why we see a lot of these products come out on mainnet and break.
Dude, that example just freaking blew my mind, because I'm somebody who I'm very experienced with DOT. I've been playing with DOT for over 4 years, and Kusama, obviously, when I go to do some stuff, and now you can finally bridge from Kusama right to DOT. Before you had to do it through the central exchange, and I kind of open that up. But yeah, I mean, dude, I didn't even think about that. Yeah, so when I use Kusama, I'm using some really degen shit that's probably going to get listed on, get put on the Polkadot mainnet. But I use it, because I want to be early to it. I want to get to the airdrops and stuff for when it does eventually get launched on Polkadot and stuff like that. So yeah, dude, you're right. That I love that example of.
I mean, you've been around for a year and a half plus, right? Like, how many testnet products did you use in the last year and actually get an airdrop for? Right, on the EVM ones, you all get tokens, early allocation, etc. On Bitcoin, it was very few and far between. Don't get me wrong, there was airdrops, and I'm happy. Like, lots of things good happened, but specifically, like, going on testnet, A, was cumbersome for most part, and B, very little reward in it.
And it's a different address, right? So it's like when you have to fill out these Google sheets when you do it of your Bitcoin.
Gotta make sure you get the right signet or testnet. Yeah, that's a good point.
Exactly. So this is great, because it's the same address. So if you want to airdrop, the people who are using your product on Fractal before you launch it on Bitcoin, you can do that. I love
that's
that
going to
example,
happen,
dude.
Like, OMB puppets, yada yada. Check your Fractal address. That's going to be an onboarding event eventually, for sure.
Love it. I love that. So in here still, we got a few more things. You may be wondering what kinds of assets PizzaSwap will support. Below is a list of assets that we plan to prioritize for integration. So this was big because we all kind of assumed, but we didn't know. Glizzy and people are going to be on what's EG? What is it?
Ergo, just like example.
Okay, I got you.
Yeah. So there may be more,
Glizzy,
but like they're highlighting those, so that's a very good sign.
Yeah. 100%. And these are two that I hold. People is funny because we're trading people. It's like a slave trade. It's kind of messed up thinking about it.
Right. They're trying to be more positive, people for the people, but there's going to be those undertones. I mean,
so I'm trading by.
It's a trade as old as time, right? Unfortunately.
Unfortunately is correct. But BRC20 on Fractal. So Glizzy, I love how it's #1 too. Like, that's huge.
Yeah.
They have to. That's the thing people don't understand.
They built a chain for BRC20s. Like, come on. Like, that's what they're doing, right?
How great does it say Glizzy on their paperwork? Like, that is so it's so funny. I mean, like,
imagine this is the SHIB of Fractal or something, maybe even to 10%. Like, that's insane. Yeah. It's just insane, right? Good luck, Block.
But that's the thing, though. It's like, all right, so obviously, the Ethereum has SHIB, Solana has Bonk, Merlin has CAT,
right? Yeah, there's
exactly. So this is Glizzy, like, and that's the thing. So Fractal Bull guys, I went back and forth with them on X, and it's just like your meme is not funny. Like, I don't look at it and giggle like I look at Glizzy. And I giggle a little bit.
Bull BRC20, and it was a decent trade for a week, but it's just not like, oh, we're in the bull market, everybody go run and get it. Like, if you want to, sure, I still have a little bit, but I mean, it's not, it just doesn't run that long. Whereas, like, Glizzy definitely, it's good that it had the East meets West, like the fact that we're all just a fast food nation at the end of the day. And like TikTok and IG and all this stuff, like the memes carry over a lot more. Yeah. Even if they might not understand it 100%, they've heard some rapper say Glizzy. They've heard some,
Yeah. How wasn't this Solana coin? Right? How isn't Glizzy like? They got dog.
There's probably been 50, and just none of them had enough liquidity, because somebody rugged it in the first hour. I mean,
that's probably true too.
That's unfortunately what happens a lot of the time.
All right. So move along here a little bit. We'll jump into Top 5 cat tokens. Today's show is CAT20s are the next to go parabolic. I think we both believe that, right? Obviously, I think BRC20 is going to run too, but CAT20s just seem to be, the overall consensus of what Fractal is going to be in the future. What would you say? Let me bring up the list here. What would you say are your kind of favorite CAT20s? So let me bring up the list here.
Obviously, Cat, right? Like it's the first one. It showed the example. It beat even BRC20s launching on that chain. So that great narrative. After that, so Cat protocol is just an undefined. We don't know exactly when it's going to be built out. It's awesome that Dot Swap and Harry at Fleur and everyone else that's starting to do that stuff. I think I even saw like SatOC has a mint function now, etc. So keep going at it, but there's a huge difference from the BRC20 model to the CAT20 model. This is much more like a Solana model where it's a token ID address, like a smart contract. So for example, CAT20 pizza that's going right now, ton of mints. In BRC20s would meet all of my standards, right? The mempool is firing up from it. There's a crap load of people focusing on it. But UniSat has a BRC20 token that they paid over $2 million to drop to everybody. Why would they adopt this token and bring it value? You know what I mean? Like I can't get away from my logic on that one. So I'm still going to mint some because I have to hedge myself sometimes. But you know what I mean? I feel like on this one, something like Kibble that ran yesterday, and I only got a tiny bit too, but is associated with another project. So I think that you want to have a little more firm like team around a project before you go into it, or like Kitty Cash, whatever. I can understand that being kind of a funny meme, right, on the CAT20 network, etc. So those are the ones that I've mentioned. And at the end of the day, I'm interested. I'm trying to learn how to set up my cat tracker for tokens that I find interesting, and then also the 721 standard once that comes out. But I'm sure the node will probably break, and I'll have to figure it all out. But I'll be more comfortable at least by then. That's what I'm more interested in. I'm very interested in the overall one. I had a conversation on the timeline, and I was like, I'm watching. I'm trying to learn how to get this thing running, but I'm just not aping in right now because this could be a 3-week, 3-month, 3-year process. Do I really think it's going to be that long? No, it'll probably be a couple months, and you'll be able to trade these things at least OTC with the transfer function, and it'll evolve from there. But like I said earlier, UniSat built a chain for BRC20s. Like they wanted to do it L1 and they had to pivot because of considerations of it's hard to do this on L1 and launch something and then it breaks and then you have to redo it and tell people to transfer again, right? You lose the market at that point. But here they can be much more closer to the knife's edge and experiment.
100%. Last night I was in stay and I heard Hype say something. Might have been last night. Hype said that he feels like BRC20s is kind of like the gateway drug. Obviously, he said he was very bullish on cat tokens, but he just seen that that's how we're getting started here. And it kind of opened my mind.
Yeah, like runes are similar enough too, but like they have that, and obviously because we're looking at UniSat, it just has that feel to it as well.
So,
and it's nice that people can't get front ran on CAT20s as well, right? Like there are huge features, like more needs to be built out, infra, etc. Like all those concerns. But yeah, there's a lot of people that are just very excited on let's see how this plays out. Because I did find out, I mentioned it before, like why hasn't this been bigger on BSV or Bitcoin Cash, etc. And it's because of SegWit. They don't have SegWit and Taproot addresses. So that was an interesting analogy, like that I used to use. Like now I've learned more about it, and like Bells I think added it, and maybe a couple other are going to. So they'll be more experimenting on it, but this is just so much more adjacent, right? UniSat is already on L1. They want their L1 BRC20 assets to be the token standard. Asia is much more bullish on this. And, if your thesis is Asia is going to kind of lead the way in this Bitcoin-centric bull market, then you want to be, moving with them.
Yeah. And they're always trying to find a chain, right? So back when Maryland was big, I heard like that, they finally said they were like, this is our EVM chain. This is our chain type of thing. Mm-hmm. And then obviously when price dropped heavily, it was kind of hard for them, but now I could see them kind of pivoting to this because we know Asia was involved in taking Ordi to $1 billion, taking Sats to $1 billion, right? They had to be involved.
They made BSV work for a long time, right? These are BSV devs that are like onboarding. Okay, hey, we can't have it exactly the way we want, but we can be the company that leads forward in Bitcoin innovation with our sidechain. Is there going to be mistakes? Is there going to be, you know, things that happen? Is there going to be pump and dumps like everywhere in crypto? Of course, right? But where can you do stuff for like a fraction of a penny and then it turns into Glizzy? You know what I mean? Like, that's what you're really going for.
And you know, obviously fees are over 1,000 at all times.
Yeah.
I think they got to stop this. This needs to be normalized now. Like it can't be red no more. Well, Bitcoin it's red, but over here, I mean, that's low to the comparison of
right.
of
And I was
8,000.
trying. Yeah, we've talked about this a few times. You have to adjust your standard, right? We were trying to get under 100. Okay, then it was 500. Now it's 1,000, right? And there'll probably be a period when the hyper minting goes away for a bit. But that's another thing with the CAT20 tokens too, is you can't have as many transactions go through because they're a larger file size. You know, DGen has spoken about it, and I kind of tend to agree. I think it needs to be 10,000 to 100,000 before we can really like put the pressure on, and it'll be almost unusable and say you need to do algorithmic block sizes, because they're already doing algorithmic difficulty adjustments, which is, I believe, from Bitcoin Cash. So, you know, they're open to taking these newer ideas. Do I think it's going to happen in a couple months? No, but that would be really cool to see, you know, if they really are going to kind of push the envelope in all different ways.
Yeah, well, I actually heard that Lorenzo is very open to making a block size bigger. He just didn't want to start that way. It's just kind of like he wants a starting point, and
I mean, it's BSV guy, right?
Exactly. No, 100%. They want to make the blocks bigger, but they didn't want to like destroy the chain in the beginning and have all kinds of crazy.
Or have it be the BSV part 2.
Yeah, exactly. So, and they want to make the miners earn fees, right? So they need each block to kind of be expensive. If it wasn't, you know, if you can go bigger, the sats per VOI drop. So you kind of want to give the miners, especially when the price of Fractal kind of drops from 25 to 13. You want to potentially, you know, when you know the next big thing comes out, which you're probably expecting soon. Then you want the fees to get higher, so the miners have more reason to earn, especially when the price keeps dropping. Because I think that's what they expected. So I think once Fractal price gets bigger, they'll kind of be open to expanding the block size and dropping sats per VOI doing that. Well, I don't know if that really
if they lose the hash rate too, that's not a good thing, right? Because that's giving some inherent value, and everybody, you know, the miners are going to sell, right? We know miners sell, but 2/3 of the blocks go to miners that are only pointing at FB, right? And they got to pay for their build, so they're all going to be selling. I mean, they're going to speculate too, because they're probably speculate mining, so they want to hold some for longer term, but they're going to want to pay their bills with it, right? You know, these work on tiny margins.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, and that's the thing. I didn't buy FB as an investment. Like I'm holding probably like 180 FB, but that's just so I can do things with it, right? Like it's not because I have some Bitcoin on the side that I'm waiting to put in. Exactly. So when I get the FB, I just hold it just because I don't want to go do dot swap again. And that's the thing too, is like dot swap. It's hard. It's it's not easy
everywhere. It's hard to get right now. Gate.io, Mexi. I've heard a lot of that lately.
When that opens the floodgates for actual investors and not people like us who just want to get it and basically just give it back to the miners, right? Because we want to do things on chain with it and then can bring it back. And that's kind of, you know, because we want to.
It's minting season. I mean, there's a lot of new ideas out there, and everything's going nice and easy. And they have a longer term plan for this. There's going to be, you know, today I posted that chart, right? BNB was flat for like 2 years, right? There's obviously peaks and valleys within that smaller range, but you're really looking for probably this into the next cycle. Maybe we speed run it and it's a 3 to 6 months thing and it can catch up and run with this one. But, you know, I'm expecting FB to have, you know, big price fluctuations for sure.
Yeah, 100%. So what would you say your top 5 are? Obviously, you said Cats, you're probably your number 1. What would you call your number 2?
I'm interested in Kibble and Kitty Cash. I would like to see like more of the meme maybe come out with Kitty Cash, or maybe there's a project behind it. I didn't really hear. It was just one of those earlier ones that started to go. So, you know, I figured that by that time Cat had already gone out. Let me get some exposure to the CAT21. Kibble, like I said, the thesis on a project around it. And then really after that, you know, maybe something else, but I think that there's going to be opportunity, right? Like anytime UniSat wants to drop a product or any other company, they make up a new token ID and boom, they have their token, right? So you don't really, I feel like, have to ape into these, where if like Glizzy goes, you know, there's never going to be another Glizzy on the BRC20 standard.
I got
There'll be Glizzies and like Glizzies with the line, all of that stuff to try and get you in there. Be safe on OKX, but it is like the place with no fees for like anything.
Yep. So this is Kibble, the coin from the pizza farm guys. And guys, so I don't really know. I'm not endorsing this project at all. I'm just saying this is just something from yesterday, a mint that drove the chain up to like 3,000-4,000 the entire day. This is from them. If you're connecting your wallet, do it through a wallet that your test wallet. I have a test wallet. You should have a test wallet. So where you have a few FB in there, anything in there. If that wallet gets hacked, that wallet can just be discarded, and you're not angry. You have a bad hour, not a bad day. And if you lose all your big shit, you're having a bad year. We don't want to do that. So just be very cautious. I don't know these guys at all, but they do seem to have a product. So it's obviously on testnet right now. Have you looked into this at all?
Basically, what you're about to do, looked it over a little bit, saw their Twitter feed, etc. But yeah, definitely make sure you don't have any assets on L1 in that wallet either. Like, be sure it is a hot wallet. I would almost treat it like a testnet wallet, have it just be a separate thing you only do, looking at Pizza Farm and other ones. But yeah, if I go back to the BNB analogy from last round, right, when it was an EVM centric meta, there's going to be a lot more of these. So you're going to want to be around them. There's going to be early yield, early farming opportunities, airdrops, whatever it may be. And, a lot of them I think will launch this way, kind of the stealth mint. China and Asia greater likes to, get the alpha and get in there and be able to position themselves. There'll obviously be probably some people that do pre-sales and etc. And some of those can do well too, but I expect to see 5, 10, eventually like 20 others of these, and they'll duke it out to see who gets the liquidity.
Yeah. But it was cool to see the first actual project do a launch, right? Because we've seen with BRC20s last year, you had Ghosty Cash, they did something similar to what these guys did, Traverse, a lot of these other projects like that. But this is kind of cool that these guys did a fair mint for everyone to kind of just say go ahead. And I think that's the smartest way to onboard people.
No, it's definitely interesting. I mean, you remember LIGO though, right? Like made promises on L1, kind of similar. I think it's much more achievable, and there's a product on there, but there's always something to compare, right? Maybe they just spun up that thing and they're gone tomorrow. So you always do have to remember that. Especially, I don't think that site is that by any means, right? It looks like they have more functionality, but you have to be prepared for that.
I mean, everything you're doing over here is a gamble, but at the end of the day, though, you weren't giving your money to them. You were kind of giving your money to the miners to get this token. So, they probably minted a shit ton before they told anyone about it. So there is that. But at the same time, if they do sell some to build the product, that enhances share. And
they'll probably have staking and pools they want to add liquidity to, etc. Right.
Yeah.
So
that too. So
they need to entice people away from UniSat swap. So they're gonna have to do something.
Yeah, for sure.
Which is going to have 20-30 million that's unlocked. That's another thing too, is you could see a lot more activity once PizzaSwap comes outside of the swap, just because people have more assets to play around with. Maybe they go and take those sats and buy some Fractal Bitcoin and then go spend it on Glizzy or People or whatever token is going off that day.
Yeah, 100%. So my 5, whatever, I'll have to go Cat number 1. I'll go Kitty Cash number 2. I'm in that their Telegrams, really cool guys in there. Probably number 3, I'd probably go Kibble, just because I think the risk there is high, but if it pans out, that could easily be the number 1 project that has a coin right now. 4, I would probably go Fractal Bull because of the 15,000 holders that can't be denied. And then number 5, probably Fractal Gold. I gotta look more into it, but they seem to be doing something with that.
Or at least on the timeline,
yeah. So I don't know. It's after a cat though. Like to your point, it's hard to pick a 2, 3, 4.
And I think there'll be more. I think you just have to be patient because this is a brand new experiment on this chain.
100%. And you got to remember too is so cat. I think everyone in the ecosystem at least has a little bit of cat, right? And there's only 32,000 holders. So we probably have like 30,000 people, and I have cat in multiple wallets, right? So there's probably like less than that are actually playing in our ecosystem.
Yeah.
DJ Sat says, "Holy moly, CAT20 map is live. Copy and do what is? Oh, is that bitmap? Oh.
Yeah. I saw that like last week, and we'll see. I'm not getting into that. Wish you the best of luck, but I have no clue how that would work out with the. I mean, just be a token then. Just be a token.
Yeah. Honestly, at that point,
it's minted by the blocks. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, man. So Glizzy actually did something really cool this weekend. It hit over 100 sats multiple times. It hit Saturday, dipped, and then it hit Sunday again. And with the 110 sats yesterday, I was actually loving that, and which is pretty cool. But then today it's a little bit down, and I think Block had actually a really good tweet about that. He says, BRC20 mints have cooled down. CAT20 mints have probably going to slow down here as well. Now people have a week to position themselves for the swap. Get liquidity ready. Unisat revealed Glizzy is a top priority for the swap yesterday. So back to Glizzy here. Where are you, Glizzy? There it is. So sitting at 79 sats, I think this is a deal, a little under $5 million market cap. What do you think about Glizzy and this dip or pullback? Do you see it getting worse, or do you kind of see it stabilizing?
I mean, it definitely could, right? It shot up like a rocket the first couple days. If you look at the dot charts or the limited tools we have for BRC20 tokens, but they've been bouncing around here. It seems to have support. I'm just kind of holding my mints, and that's my mentality. Maybe if it did get like below 50 sats, I'd be more enticed to maybe grab a little more bag. But yeah, I'm kind of like it's a coin flip, right? Like I think it might even be healthier if it did do a better drawdown, because most people might have a similar idea as you and I. Like if it does draw back a bit, maybe I can just add to my bags.
Yeah, and I was in OSD yesterday, and I forget who it was, someone from an alpha group. They were saying how they missed it. And in my head, I'm like, how do you miss something that's a $5 million market cap? But like someone like him or someone who thinks they missed it now at 50 sats. So you're right. I'm actually hoping it gets there. I actually have an opportunity to get in, and we can ride this all
then
up
they can
together.
try and grab the bottom and then call it to their guys. Yeah, for sure.
Exactly. That's what I was thinking too. So I'd actually be okay with going down 50. And you got to remember, like, I actually missed this mint, but I got in like 8 sats. I got like a nice bag. My goal, I put $1,000 into 8 sats. My goal was, okay, this drops back down to 5. I'm gonna get another 1,000. I never got that opportunity, right? It just flew up from there.
It just
and then I end up buying my second bag at 20 sats. Right. So I'm still up a lot on this, but I have no intention of selling. I think Glizzy is going to be a clear winner. It's funny. I love the tokenomics of 420, 420, 420, 420. I just love everything about it. And I just think that it's actually funny, and it can be really funny going forward.
It can go on the swaps, right? Like I'm sure the pizza farm, that will be one of their main swaps too. And they might have a big, yield to get you over there. Yeah, there's just going to be options for sure.
And how cool LP for pizza and Glizzy. Like talking Glizzy pool,
Glizzies and sats, even. I mean, whatever.
It's just gonna be funny. Like every time you look at it, it kind of makes you smile a little bit because it's funny. So I'm very bullish on this. I actually do hope it goes at 50 sats. So if you are a holder of this, don't be worried. I'm not worried at all. But obviously it's not financial advice. This thing could go to zero. Everything can go to zero, right? But in my eyes, I'm holding. I got a lot of this, so I'm holding a good amount. So all right. So the fractal bull bridge, kind of talked about it a little bit earlier, but I actually used this over the weekend, just kind of messing around. I put over to like 0.0004 of a Bitcoin, got the BTC, so it works great, and it was very quick.
Okay.
Have you used it yet? And this isn't UniSat's product, right? This is the kind of like a partner of theirs.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that they might have had assets that were for Merlin too, and maybe some other L2s. But I mean, I think they mentioned like 7 bridges they want to promote besides their own or something. Okay. So, they want to have a wide array of options, and kind of like we talked about earlier. I mean, ideally they can get to a point where, like the modular system works on both sides. Because ideally, just like a smart contract and bridging with a lot of other chains is turned into, you can use some aggregator and they're able to put these transactions together. There's still some probably inherent risk, but if you could actually get to where it's, bridge code, whether it be BitVM, something new with CAT20s or some other technology, right? Like I did the indexing with OPI, and so I've been looking at the modular system for like a long time, and it can be done in L1. It's just way tougher, and they're not willing to rush it. Like, I mean, that's more of like a next year, maybe even next cycle type thing. But if you can prove it, on this test net that's got a ton of users, that's a good sign in my opinion.
Yeah. 100%. I think it's really cool that you can just do it. I mean, we're 11 days in the fractal, maybe 14 at this point. But like the first week you couldn't really do anything. But it's just really cool to see people actually building. And this is a bridge. This isn't something that's easy to do, right? I mean, obviously you're wrapping the tokens, but you got to have, got to make sure you're not going to get like messed up and stuff like that. So this is big that we're actually seeing people kind of spin this stuff up really quickly. So
yeah, and you're seeing launch pads, like, you know, anybody on Bitcoin, right? It's pretty straightforward to just like change the node you look at and start offering another product. You know, that has a downside, service fees add up, et cetera, et cetera. But it's good that, you know, it's at least catching the narrative in various different areas, right? Launch pads, swaps, et cetera. You know, different things want to build over there, and there's a lot of copy pasta, et cetera. I've said it a few times already. Like, this is a chain built for BRC20, so I think the tokens are much more interesting. Does that not mean like I think the Fractal Geese thing was very cool? Yeah. Like, you know, there's all over the chain, right? So a lot of people had fun doing that, and there's, you know, more to come. You know, a lot of people are mentioning, you know, when is it going to stop, and they will when it will. But like any other project, I'm just not really into. I want to see like 3D assets, something that's using recursion in an interesting way, maybe CAT20 in an interesting way, CAT721s, whatever. And, you know, like we talked about with other things, I really want to see it take a level up, right? Fees are cheap on level 1 Bitcoin. Like, if you really want to put quality art, like, you should be doing it there.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I'm not big. I got a couple of things on Fractal. I got like the Frac bots and a few other things just to kind of,
yeah. There's trades to be made, right? It's just not 100%. My focus. There's way too much stuff going on the tokens thing. So,
yep. All right, let's jump to DotSwap real quickly. So DotSwap, again, front ran everyone again, right? This is a place where you can actually swap. Obviously, again, you have to deposit, so it's very centralized, just so everyone knows. But you can trade FB for CAT, and it's sitting around $1.22 right now. I actually had somebody, someone pretty big, got a lot of money, a lot of Bitcoin's been around since like 2013. Actually, reached out to me. He's like, "Yo, I want to buy a handful of CAT with my FB, but if I do it, I'm going to rip the price up to 280." And I was like, he's like, do you think I should do it? And I was like, I don't know, man. You know, I think you should DCA. He's like, I don't got time for that. He's like, I just want to buy it and then hold it, right?
And be done.
So,
yeah.
And if I think people probably know this person, but I was like, God damn. So I hit Yagobi. I was like, yo, this dude said he's going to take the price of 280. Should we buy more? And he's just like, I don't know. So I think he's going to try to DCA in this big guy, but he doesn't want to waste a lot of time. He just wants to get the amount that he wants and kind of hold it. But I thought that was pretty big, that you could see one person rip the price of CAT up to over 150% from here. That's how non-liquid these markets are, one, and two, there is demand for this,
right? There's such a fraction of the supply that's actually on DotSwap, right? So you know, you inject 10K and the price moves a lot. I mean, the same.
That was the exact number. That you hit it in the nose. The exact number that he was trying to do.
There needs to be wider liquidity, and you know, Harry from OW has mentioned, like, there is a way to do these CAT tokens where you just have orders in the mempool and almost like a marketplace contract that you interact with or something, and they can even take off like a portion. So say I list 100 tokens and you want to buy 10, you can buy 10 and I still have 90 listed. So there's going to be a lot of like cool building that comes out of this, and I'm up for it. But I think it could be the price just goes to 280, and realistically then everybody rushes in there to get that arbitrage, and then it normalizes, right? That's what the market does. So I would be paying attention for sure. But like FB, I think these are longer term to intermediate plays. So I unfortunately miss out, and I'm kind of waiting right now. I want to see what happens, and maybe I do have to buy it at a higher price, but that's fine. I'm waiting and looking at these tokens, and hopefully I can flip other wins into paying whatever I have to pay.
Did you say you were able to mint it, or you missed a mint?
I wasn't able to. I got some kitty cash because Harry's was open by then, and I have the tracker going right now. It's chugging along, but at that time I just didn't have the time to focus. I tried to spin it up and looked at it, and it was like, okay, this is a bit over my head. I'm gonna have to really focus on it. And by a week later, then I was able to get it running and break it a few times, and now it's steadily running. So we're in the right direction.
And I've been actually DCAing CAT as well. Nice. I got a lot of FB in the beginning. I had like $14, and I was like, happy. But then as we're coming back down to where I bought in it and below it, I was kind of like, I'm more okay with kind of trading it for CAT, because CAT seems to be very stable. At $1. Look at this. It's just been,
and it's good if people are speculating into these other tokens, right? Because they're moving their FB over there, and then eventually they're going to need more to either play add into pools, whatever it may be. And we need buy pressure because right now there is only sell pressure,
Yep.
and that's fine. I mean, I hope it, unfortunately for everybody's bags, right? I haven't put any in. I've gotten airdrops and that's what I've been using. But I mean, I hope it goes lower and the hash rate gets worse because that's beneficial for me in the longer term. Maybe it'll be after this cycle, right? Like I think that could easily happen, but yeah, it's going to really just depend on like what does this cycle do and can it catch it, in the right stride. And I'm very focused on PizzaSwap. PizzaSwap in like the next 3 to 6 months, I think needs like 2 to 3x at least their total value locked to that extra 100 million mark, or it's going to be probably a while.
Yeah, I agree, and that's the thing too. Is like people like Degen was saying yesterday in the OSD. He was like, I hope it goes to $5. And in my head, I was like, that'd be terrible. But I was like, wait, like I gotta look like take a step back for a second and say that actually is really good, because then I'm able to get some FB really cheap. Because all I'm doing with my FB is what I'm inscribing, right? I'm minting. I'm doing CAT20s inscriptions, and when the CAT721's out, I would love to have cheap FB to be able to do those inscriptions because some of them are going to really pop off. Maybe $10,000-$20,000 per one that I'm getting for maybe $5, right? So I really, after hearing like that in OSD, I started thinking, I was like, you know what? Yeah, send it to $5 because that benefits me. I do have Bitcoin. I said on the sideline that I'm waiting to put in FB. I'm kind of keeping it there because it seems like Bitcoin's going up and FB's going down. It'd be stupid to sit and wait in FB. So in a way, send it lower.
Right. I mean, and most of these tokens, right, there's airdrops, etc. I know a lot of it's still locked up. A lot of it's mineable, whatever. But like, look at, say, Sui, a lot of these other chains, whatever it may be, the first month or so, there's a huge spike up, a huge spike down, a consolidation period because we've been playing with our free airdrops, getting multiples that way. And then we come back in and are like, okay, now I'm ready to accumulate or turn my miner back on because the hash rate's gone down and it makes sense for me again, or whatever it may be.
100%. I agree. Next thing here is Magic Eden. They announced that the airdrop will be in the ME token on Solana. I know you probably got a good amount of diamonds. I got a very solid amount of diamonds.
Yeah.
So I guess they're going to do that through the Magic Eden wallet. Are you knowledgeable on this? Did you take a look at this at all?
I mean, I've looked at it. I've seen it on the timeline. I have a mobile wallet and everything else. I'm not really prioritizing it. I had a bunch from previous transactions, whether it be Bitcoin, a little bit on Solana, but then like the old ETH wallets, if you hook them up, you could have got your allotment. So yeah, I'm just kind of waiting for the drop to happen. I will probably be a seller and keep a little portion or whatever. But it'll be a great stimulus for the economy. And it's good to see like Magic Eden giving back because they are the dominant marketplace right now. And that's why they probably switched to the .us and now have a .com, separated. So you can, take a little trip and grab your token still.
I am a little worried about that. It might deny US users the airdrop though. For that reason. So
I think it would be why, I won't terrible decision for them, but
I won't touch that swap without my VPN right now. I'll tell you that.
Yeah. I mean, I'm game for it. Like I would love to see a competitor coming against Magic Eden. I use OKX almost exclusively because there's zero fees for inscribing, zero fees for etching runes, zero fees on the marketplace. If more people used it, it would be a better marketplace overall. And Asia does. So the coins are very liquid and great. But it is a little, herky jerky of a website. There's definitely some UI that could be better at the end of the day, just like UniSat. But if they're not going to charge me fees, that's a way for me to compound better. So I try to use it as often as I can.
Yeah.
And using it got you the FB airdrop too now. So, right. So like I had some random like Xverse wallets that got it that I never thought would get it because I was selling on OKX.
I didn't think about that. Yeah. I got it.
Any Taproot address could have got it. So yeah, you should plug it into a UniSat wallet and you might have some hidden.
Interesting. Yeah. So obviously this being an Solana token and we're Bitcoiners, but I don't have any Solana. That's one chain that I just have no interest in playing with. I guess you're going to be able to, because right now on Magic Eden Wallet, you can go from Solana into Bitcoin, Bitcoin into Solana very easily, very cheaply, not very expensive. You do get
need a little bit of Solana for gas, but a fraction of a penny or what, put $5 in there and you'll be good forever.
So do you think that people are going to just get their ME tokens in their Magic Eden wallets and then just immediately dump that for Bitcoin and then withdraw the Bitcoin?
Or Solana, yeah. I mean, it's an airdrop, right? maybe they make some kind of staking or some kind of advantageous avenue for it, right? But yeah, this is like Arbitrum. A lot of these tokens, when they first come out, the first sellers make the best bang for their buck because people speculate on it, and then usually the supply adds up. Like your dot swap example with 10K, the price would spike astronomically because of the bonding curve, and it's just because it's an illiquid book at the end of the day right now. And like something like CAT20 could fix this, because then you have the full supply technically in the math problem at any given time, and the order book is now done with the script and using the mempool, and then people just pull from that data that's on chain.
Yeah. My last question about the ME stuff is, you did mention stimulus for the economy. Do you think this is what kind of pushes us into the next leg up?
Yeah, and that's another reason you could be bullish on it too, because they are the main platform. I just think it's going to be so widespread, and people are looking for a reason to have more degen money, right? Whether it be on Solana, Bitcoin, etc., to be able to speculate on these other assets. So yeah, I think there'll be a pretty broad sell-off, unless they make very advantageous. If the fees go away, if you hold so much in a certain wallet, that would bring a user like me back there more often, right? I would probably hold 1K, 5K, 500, whatever the token allotment, if it was a reasonable amount, or I got it for free in that wallet. Okay, I'll keep one wallet and make it go there, but it doesn't add up to the probably other 5, 10, 50 some other people have.
Yeah, I completely agree. All right, so the next thing here is this thing. Francis is gonna be pissed off that I mentioned this, but Cat Fun, it actually looks cool. I'm not gonna lie. I never really played on Pump.fun at all, but this kind of has that. So what you have to do is you have to mint the entire supply to yourself, and then deposit it in here, and then you can create one of these vaults here, and basically you can kind of go in and you can buy these. So, but these are all pre-mined tokens, and the entire supply has to be put in. But then you can start buying. So you can see market cap 4K, market cap 4K, 4K. How do you feel about doing it this way, other than just the free mint to the miners?
It has more of a feel for Solana. It's able to pair with that bonding curve a little bit better. So, maybe it happens. I'm skeptical on these. Like, I'm a fan of Francis's, and does really great stuff in the space, but I'm just hesitant to see these really get traction. At the end of the day, like, this meta is kind of moved from chain to chain and is not the same as Solana, whether it be the experience, the liquidity, etc. And I've tried it on not like Tron, but like in BNB, but I've used it on like Say and Sui, and it's a very similar experience. But it's just like, I don't know if it's really going to ever get enough liquidity, because we have this like other style.
Yeah, I think you might be right. And the way they're doing it too, you have to mail out the whole supply, give it to them, and then they kind of put it in an LP. But we don't have that over here yet. So this is being done on Naka chain, I believe. So they're kind of doing it here, and then once it gets to like 60,000, 35,000, they actually put it on Naka chain. So on their swap,
because they need somewhere with liquidity. Yeah,
exactly. So I don't know. It seems like a good idea of Naka swap, the Naka chain and stuff like that. I know it's very centralized because I've used it before, but I don't know. It's kind of cool they have a marketplace already, but again, very
and maybe they can integrate into new things that happen. That's maybe the most ideal situation for them.
Yeah,
I think like Francis's and others will be versatile, right? Like, I was surprised that they were doing only CAT20 tokens, because I assumed that they were doing BRC20 tokens, but they obviously knew this would probably pop up. And that's why they weren't launching on block 21K, right? Like, they're launching later because they want to have it a little more developed until they make their move.
Yeah. And I don't think they're ready either. This has just been an idea for a while, and then actually the devs are working on it and stuff like that. So for Francis doesn't want to put out a half-ass product either. He's very into making the UI perfection, because he says, a project without good UI is a shit project. And I believe that, no matter how good the back end is. So
you can go so far with UI.
Yeah, for sure. See, okay, so we have fluid tokens. Bring this up here. Where is it? So anyway, fluid enabled staking about 2 weeks ago now. It's one of the few places where you can stake, and a lot of people always say, like, if you don't know where yield's coming from, you are the yield. But in this case, the yield is coming from, they're just kind of giving the $1 billion cat up just to kind of get people staking. But eventually, project founders, let's just say Block wanted to lock up the Goosenals and then give you guys, I don't know, a token that represents that for whatever reason. He could do that and stuff like that. So it will come from the founders. And like, why would the founders want to do that? Because they keep their floor price high, right? They're able to, you know, like this one. There's 280. A lot of these came off the floor. Yeah, people buy them from the floor, and then let's lock them up till October 24th. So congratulations, Fluid. 281 stakers here, 64 stakers here, and then 8 stakers here. I'm actually thinking about getting some galactic goods and put it in here because with 8 people, I think they're expecting more people because you get a million of these runes, and I think the APY there is pretty high because there's only 8 stakers. So I'm looking into that. I haven't done it yet, but what do you think about staking on Bitcoin? Do you think it's going to be a thing?
I think it's going to be a narrative, right? And it is a good method to try and get ones off the floor. If you're locked in for periods of time, right, that's less advantageous. Like I have some random ETH one that I did for a year, and then I missed the period to unlock it, so it's locked for another year, and I'm probably never going to get this thing back. But whatever. At the end of the day, it's that's where it can get, you know, to be a slippery slope. But it is cool that they're giving like specific, you know, rewards and not being kind of, oh, well, it might bounce between here or there, etc. So I like this like much more straightforward, and especially if you can kind of come in and out as you choose, even if they put it up front, like, hey, this could take 1 to 3 days, right? Because there is some flexibility with building on Bitcoin that's kind of understood now. So as long as they're like pretty upfront about that, you know, it's a cool idea. And if more, you know, teams started to build it around it or want to do the pools on there, it can be something that, you know, takes forefront. Maybe they get onto Fractal too.
Yeah, well, yeah, he's definitely thinking about that. He says, you know, trouble is his team's small and they don't have a lot of maintenance. Do a lot of maintenance of the platform. So he's actually thinking about that, especially with OpCat. But my problem is though, right? So I was one of the first people to stake in here just as a test. I got 21 staked in here. And I just want people to stop putting them in because now I'm getting less and less of the Billy, right? So in my head, like there was 100. I was like, all right, cool. I'm getting like, you know, 1,200 Billy for each cat. And now I'm like, now I'm getting 500 Billy for each cat. I'm like, all right, Raul, I think it's time to stop it. Like, stop letting people put their but.
And that could be maybe something, you know, you suggest. Maybe it's like, hey, there's this many tokens for 100 users, and then it locks once it hits. And then if they choose to do another lot, you know, and then that makes it more like, hey, maybe you do, you know, 33% the first one, and then 30 the next one, and you know, there's different methods. So right, you can incentivize like, hey, get in here now, or it could be worth less in the future.
Well, that's kind of what I was asking him. I was like, you should have a donate button. Because like if I was, let's just say, founded the Goosenals and I saw more people were staking, but the thing going down, I would donate. Like if I had if I was bullish on a project, let's say the puppets, and they had the puppets staking in here, I'd donate some of the reward or whatever. Like,
or maybe they do like tier systems, right? Like if you get 100 users, this unlocks, and then if you get 200 users, this amount unlocks. Right?
Oh, I love that idea. That's
and you could have it be where like if 1,000 unlock, there's like a 1.5 bonus, right, or something like that. No, there's definitely ways to make that would more advantageous, you know, as it goes along, or disincentivize people coming in later.
100%. That's it. But it does lock at the end of the month. You have 7 days if you want to get into these, and then obviously the fluid pass. If you do have a fluid pass, you'll be able to stake that. The first month you're going to get Bitcoin. He's going to give Bitcoin because obviously there's staking fee. He's basically giving that back to the fluid pass holders. So you're going to get Bitcoin in the first 30 days, and then after that, there'll be another vault that opens, so you'll be able to stake again to get the FLDT token, and that's their Cardano token that'll eventually be a rune. So definitely keep an eye on that. You will be able to stake your passes. So, but yeah, cool. Man, I think that's everything on my list here. Oh yeah, okay. The Taproot Witch. You actually have some, you know, you've been playing with this a little bit. I'm kind of on the outside looking in. What was your experience with this? Obviously, you've seen it come out at 0.015, shot all the way up to about 0.00, was it 9? I think it was something crazy, and then dipped down pretty hard. What was your overall experience?
I was lucky enough to get one. Shout out Ross and the Nookies for the whitelist win. Really appreciate it. I unfortunately was pretty checked out this summer, so I missed the It's a Full Moon rune, but I got to hear a bunch about it being in their spaces. Happy for everybody that grabbed them, but you know, after the mint, it obviously dumped. Maybe it has more of an upside in the future. I don't know. I have my one. I'm kind of keeping it. You know, I think that it was an interesting project built around a rune and had a lot of interesting ideas. At the end of the day, right? Like maybe Magic Eden had some issues with letting those 8 out early, and that's very unfortunate. And then, you know, the delays that happens, you know, Quantum Cats, Udi, $1 million team with great engineers, etc. You know, obviously a smaller project doing the best they can. So there can be some leeway. The whole like guaranteed whitelist, I get why people are salty, right? When you hear the word guaranteed, you expect to be guaranteed for that period of time. And for it to be over allocated and extremely over allocated, where it minted out in 5 minutes in the second guaranteed section, you know, I get it. So I'm glad I got mine. I was ready. I was there. It was, the website was breaking the normal minting things. And I'm glad I got mine. I know people were able to get multiple ones of theirs if they had more of them. But if you know, if you're not ready, like at the start of this, that can happen. Like you should always treat any guaranteed period as hopefully guaranteed. And this is just an example of that. And unfortunately, like even the founder, this can get out of their hands because you have these people giving out lists and they overdo it, right? And maybe there's some monetary gain there too, whatever. Yeah, it's just unfortunate, and they'll have to work through it.
Are you bullish on this long term? Obviously, you know, it's a team behind it, and they raised 5 Bitcoin, so they do have some funding to kind of play with. Do you think this is going to be something that kind of keeps enhancing, or do you think it's something that's just going to be a project and kind of the third or fourth project?
I know that they have plans, like they have the Spice Melange rune. It's supposed to make a new attribute with the blue eyes. They're supposed to change with the full moon. So we've seen that with like Nocturnal Maxis where they change at night with recursion and things like that. So I think they're bringing in a lot of interesting elements. I think they did a really interesting launch with the, you know, stealth mint, and like the nookies were on top of it and got it early. And, you know, if you were able to make trades, probably did very well. I know a lot of them kept them and able to get the ordinal. So I am going to keep mine because I have one. I think it's interesting. I hope they do well. Small collection size, you know, if it has upside more in the intermediate. They did beat the real Wizards, right? Like that narrative can come back along. I think there's some pretty negative sentiment, and it's mainly for people that didn't get it or got burned a little bit. So I get that. But if you're not able to bring those people in a smaller, you know, niche that we have at the end of the day, ordinals, it can pretty inhibit you. And I think that's what we're seeing with the overall excitement overall. And then just like at the end of the day, you know, it was not the best experience. And not, you know, if it said first come, first serve in that section instead of guaranteed, and there was only one guaranteed period, I think it'd be a completely different conversation. So if that would have been like a big pill to swallow, like maybe that would have been easier beforehand than afterhand dealing with this.
Yeah, I agree. I think that, you know, they did mess up definitely in the beginning, especially with the guaranteed stuff. But you also seen something very similar from the puppets, right? The puppets got botted. I mean, really got beat up. You know, a couple of days after they launched, everyone was
mints and launch pads
them
in general on Bitcoin. Really, it is like, you know, biggest player in the space, Magic Eden, issues, right? And then especially, you know, puppets, smaller site. I know you've been on a lot of these mints. Yeah, like it is really tough to not get botted to heck if it's hype, and also have it like execute on chain.
Yeah, 100%. But I do see these could. Do you think these could do something very similar? Do you think these could ever get to 0.1 for sake? Let's just say 6 months down the line.
Yeah, for sure. I think so.
Really?
Yeah,
wow.
I think so. I mean, I don't think it's off the table. I'm not like guaranteeing it. I'm not like scaling in. I thought about maybe getting 2 because I'm just in for $100 and maybe I add, you know, one more into it. But like post reveal, a lot of times they dump, so maybe I can get in a little cheaper. And I'm just like, I kind of have my image bags packed. I like the ones I have. Shout out to my puppet guys and gooses and everything like that. I'm kind of moving into the next thing. I hope that more comes back. Maybe it's the Magic Eden, maybe it's this project combination of things. Some runes are doing better. There's like some mints even going on with that here and there. So hopefully there is more of a catalyst to it right now. But I just, as a nerd, really find the nerdy stuff going on with Fractal Bitcoin and the upside of putting pennies in to make dollars and more with everything minting, etc., swaps coming, yada yada. That's where my focus is, and I can only do, you know, so much.
Yeah, I 100% agree. Let's kind of get into some Q&A here from the audience. So we got Crypto Universe says Frackbots. I got 3 of them. I minted them super cheap. Did you get any of those? There's like 425.
No, I have one of those from E still, so I stayed away. But
Yeah.
I saw they ran up. But yeah, I'm just not interested in the copy pastas. Is there definitely trades for sure? If I got in some that were like literally basically free, maybe I would have or whatever. But I'm just not looking. You know, one fractal or two fractal. If I spend it on 3 or 4 or 5 of these, that's like hundreds of thousands of mints. Like
Yeah.
that's a lot of upside in my opinion. Even if you crap out on 90% of them.
Yeah, I agree. 100%. Matt says thoughts on FB domains. I got shizzy.fb. I ran a race for that because some a-hole grabbed shizzy.btc and put it for sale for $800. So I wanted to make sure that doesn't happen again. So I mean, it is what it is. Do you? I'm not buying it, but you know. But if you want to donate it to
Not
me,
yet.
no,
Not yet. Yeah.
thoughts on FB domains.
We'll see. I'm not doing it right now. If some project says, hey, you know, like UniWorld's FB names are supported or whatever, I'd be more into it. And it's, you know, super cheap to lock them up or whatever. But just like my argument with images, like obviously text inscriptions are much lower. If there's not something being built around it, same kind of thing with CAT20, right? Like I'm more bullish on CAT20. I'd rather do CAT20s than domain names because there's already .btc, .sats, .uniworlds, .unisat. You know what I mean? Like there's a lot of those already there. And maybe they get some love from UniWorlds and UniSat over the longer term, just like Cat. But for right now, like we know UniWorlds has a team building around it. We know .unisat gets you discounts on their websites and possibly more in the future. You know, it has their name on it. Maybe they get some incentive to that down the line. So just like the point system on their website, right? You just want to have exposure to these random things. So if it starts to pop off or a project comes, yeah, I'll throw some in the mempool. I did with the .sat that blew up on Genie Data a while ago. Not .sats. There's some project building around just the sat. So I was like, okay, I'll throw like 10 or 20 of these in there for $5 and maybe get an airdrop from them.
Yeah, I agree. And if there's a way that, you know, they can do it to where if I want to send, say, J25 FB, if I can send it to J25.FB, that would be pretty big. But there's no one actually doing that yet, right? I think that would be, you know, but yeah. Anyway, Rocket Dog says, any new news on CAT721s? I haven't heard anything. Have you?
No, I mean, everybody's talking about it, speculating. For a frame of reference, Harry, who I've mentioned, you know, comes from BSV background and Ordinals wallet, obviously building with Bitcoin. Now, building Fleur.gg, no fees. So I've been minting my stuff from there. He said that he's talked to the S-Script guy, and it took about like, they've been working on this protocol, you know, with other chains, et cetera, for years and years. But to build specifically on Fractal took about 3 months roughly. So if that gives you a time frame on how long it might be taking for 721s, is it longer because it's a little more complicated? Is it shorter because he already has some of the code from CAT20s? I don't know, but just to give you a frame of reference, like, you know, it could be a week, 3 weeks, 3 months, 6 months. We just really don't know.
And who's putting this out? Is it the S-Script guys? Is this their protocol? Have they came out yet, or we don't know?
I haven't heard anything officially. I think all I know is it's just a random GitHub and you grab it and run. Like, you know, the fun wild west of the internet.
But that's the thing too, is like, so we're all bullish on CAT20s, but no one knows who deployed it, right?
No
one knows
developers. I mean, it's worked. It's from other chains, right? So it's like it's somebody
Yeah.
from BSB brought this and forked it. You know, probably Jack Lee, whatever. You know.
Yeah, I love Jack Lee. He gets a lot of slack, but he's always first to a lot of things. He was the first person to put out stablecoin in Bitcoin.
He's got an innovative mind and
on
speaks
Bitcoin.
well. Yeah.
Well, yeah, he speaks well, but he's a little. I love him, but he's a little crazy sometimes. But that's my guy. So.
I mean, hey,
Degen, like
I love Degen. Like the fact that he's getting ridiculous on Spaces again, I'm like, all right, we're back. He's locking in. Well, you can tell. Yeah, you can tell people are ready to go.
Yeah, man. I think we're all ready. 6 months of sideways. But what do you think of the Fractal Node Monkey Mint? I have no interest in. I think Jay already said it. Derivatives is not bullish on it, right? All right. Then we have Matt's again. Thought on the low inscription. Could be something when Fractal. I know Block is very interested in the low inscriptions. He's like the only one really talking about it. I have looked, but I'm not willing to give up 3,000 FB for a top 10, right? So I'm looking at if it does get cheaper, I'd go 1,000 for a top 10, maybe a top 20, top 30, but I'm not really degenning into that. Are you looking at that at all?
No, That's just out of my arena. Like, good for you. Maybe it has some more value, but I'm not really that bullish on early inscriptions on the main chain. So it's just not, not my thing.
Yeah. And then DJ Sats says, why own Solana, not Bitcoin? So the ME token, because I mean, that's Solana, and Magic Eden's always been Solana. They obviously
I mean,
they
it's their
adopted
roots. It's
Bitcoin.
where they came from. Most of their volumes there. It makes sense.
Do you still think most of their volumes there, or do you think Bitcoin kind of taking the volume? Because Rev Runes, and I think we trade more, honestly. I mean, I don't really see anyone trading Solana PFPs.
I don't know. I think we're just not tuned into that market. Yeah.
You're
Even
probably
if
right.
it's just wash trading or whatever, like, and probably new collection after new collection, but they definitely, I think, get, good numbers at the end of the day. Just Solana's got a lot of velocity, whether it's quality or not, right? There's a lot of volume sloshing around from time to time.
Gotcha. Adam Matthew says, what's the point of running a CAT20 node now? Is there a benefit?
For sure. Yeah. So my main thinking is that, I can do mints, and there's products out there that are getting better. So the mints that might go away, but it's mainly so for 721s, I'm prepared. Do I know if it will be able to be stable when I do the update, et cetera? No, but it's letting me learn how to get there with their, software. So that way, hopefully I can troubleshoot and be ready if there's an early 721 mint I want to get into. That's what I'm really interested more on the images side, is things that can make their way to L1. I think of this like the minor leagues, right? Like, if Glizzy is really huge, could it eventually be something that people want to put on main chain for longer term, or maybe the liquidity pool makes it to main chain or something. I don't know. Obviously maybe that's next cycle or something down the line. But that's really how I think of it for obviously the CAT protocol, because that's why we're testing it here. And then any of the tokens that really can have longevity, I think they should strive to be an L1 token at the end of the day.
Yeah, I agree. Great answer. DDD Crypto says, hey, what up with Glizzy? How can I get exposure to PizzaSwap?
So
I don't know.
Once it opens, unfortunately, the L1 swap's been closed and is waiting to port over. So, I mean, any of those assets that you want to have ready, maybe you want to wait, just get in the swap and bring over a bunch of Fractal Bitcoin. Maybe that'll be the easiest way. But yeah, until we know exactly, the ins and outs, it's tough to say, because this is just a new thing.
Yeah, I agree. I'm not looking for exposure to PizzaSwap. I think FB and Sats would probably be your best bet if you're looking for that. Because obviously, what we think
is
Sats,
token, there's probably going to be some staking farming opportunities around that.
Yeah.
If you wanted to just play like that play, because they'll probably give some sort of fees back, like Pancake Swap did with the syrup, and they'll maybe is another token down the line. They have, I think it's a Party is another token that was in the minting or the deploy wallet for pizza. So there's been some speculation about that. Yeah, I maybe I'm misremembering that, but I vaguely remember hearing about that. And then people were going with Cook, because Cook pizza, or like oven pizza. Yeah, there's other ones that had kind of like coalesced around maybe being memes in the swap.
I actually minute oven BRC20. I was looking at my wallet the other day. I was like, what the frick is oven? But I'm that would be
there you go. Hey, the meta's coming back.
Oh man. Glasshopper says, I keep getting an error staking Billy Cats, IBTC in the wallet for fees. You might need to add, there is an issue with Fluid. I remember when I was doing the swapping, is you have to have more than enough BTC in there for it to go. It's like something in the code or something. I'm not really 100% sure, but when I had this issue as well. Yeah, I had to add I had to add Bitcoin to that wallet, even though it wasn't taking that Bitcoin. It was just something that it just doesn't activate unless you have more Bitcoin. It needs to read the amount of Bitcoin or something. So I would just add a little bit more Bitcoin to that and then try again. But I think that's what it is. Frackbot deep dive. Yeah, I don't know, buddy.
Next week.
What happened, guys? What happened to Fractal Punks? Again, you guys have more information about this than I do. I don't really have anything on that. So,
I mean, I saw them going on the chain, and looking at them. And then we have like the whole before the Block 21K crowd, right? So are they going to be adopted? I think maybe we have a narrative where they become the cursed ones, like L1 or something.
Yeah.
But I'm not super bullish on those. Like, good if you got them, right? Like that was one reason to have your node running early. But I just think that this is a BRC20 chain, so I'm going to be focused on those.
100%. Bit Honcho says, what are the 3 best communities for Ordinal Rune Alpha? Obviously OSD. I would say number 1 for that. Just be in there, listen. Number 2 would be Debauchery. I think Debauchery is a really good place. That's where I'm a lieutenant there. I've been participating in that for a little while. And what would you say your third is?
I'd say the Nookies. Shout out to Sam and
Nookies.
Ross. They're definitely very focused on runes and the L1 game. And even though it's been tough pickings, they've been picking winners. They're very good at kind of, knowing what's going on, finding tokens that have probably bottomed out because they're just so low and the floor looks decently thin. So there's opportunity if you get back in there with finding It's a Full Moon. That's where it really started. I know that they've had other wins probably before and after that. And they're open to looking at other chains and things like that. I know a lot of them have experimented on Fractal too, but they've been, I think Zach made like a little DM group too. And he's been making a lot of great content out there. So yeah, just they're on the pulse in general with Ross as always. But I think that they are definitely doing honestly better than OSD because Hype's been busy, recently with everything going on with Fractal Bitcoin. So I've done a space here, DJ does one here or there, but a lot of us have just kind of been too busy to make it happen lately. And I think that'll change as we're all, locking back in.
Yeah, 100%. And yeah, that's like I said in the beginning, that's where I get OSD. I just pop it on, dude. Like I got a lot of like stuff to do for Ordinal Revolution, just like back end stuff to kind of for website and stuff like that. So I just sit here sometimes just working and just throw OSD on.
Funny faces.
Yeah, exactly. And and the thing is like about OSD is like not only you're getting alpha, it's fucking funny. Like it's funny. Like I crack the fuck. My wife's like, "What are you laughing at?" I'm like, "I nothing." Like,
yeah,
I don't want to explain.
I'll laugh like walking by. I'll be like, I can't even stay in front of the kids. Yeah,
100%. Or I'll be at my kid's school and I'll throw it on and like they get in the car like, "Why are you red faced?" D-Gen said something to block.
Yeah,
and it was like, "Shut up, Dad. Shut up."
Yeah, I don't care.
And then let's see if we've got any more questions here. Once UniSat enable CAT20 transfer bids will explode. A lot of sell pressure. Do you get this question? Once UniSat
like that, once you can transfer the tokens, they'll be able to do OTCs, and then ideally, some marketplace will build around it. We were talking with Harry about it, and it's just there's just hurdles, and it takes time, and he's learning along the way. So it's going to happen, and this is what happens when a new thing comes out and there's no infra for it, right? It's a slow and grinding process.
100%. DDD Crypto says, where can I get info on how to run a node? I think, where would you say?
You can just kind of like obviously search Twitter if you put in a few different things. They have docs.fractalbitcoin.io, I believe, is where you get all of the links to like the specific GitHubs if you want. Like they have the source code or this and that. At the end of the day, it's pretty Wild West. They forked it from Bitcoin, made some tweaks, probably used some AI, etc. So like I've been able to get the cat tracker where they're like full package, has it go into Docker, which is like this just like environment place where you throw information and it does it rather than just on your computer, like in the client line, like normal. So that has worked for me, and I've been able to get that going because it's kind of like a pre-packaged, like, hey, here's the node, the Postgres, and the tracker, and run these 3 things, and they intertwine with our code, and it starts working, right? But to get the like node and the Ord client working, I've had like zero capabilities of doing that. So be prepared for it to probably not work right. I've heard from people that know like how to look at source code and build this stuff from scratch that it's not the best code in the world, and it needs to be improved. But it's early, it's running, it's working. So, it's doing its thing, and hopefully it just continues to grow and get better.
Yeah. It was great. Glasshopper says, Shizzy, I just minted a Cosmic Bitminer. Oh, yeah. I forgot about the Foxy stuff. Let's kind of get into that for a second.
Sure.
So Foxy's Bitminer went live today. So they just dropped a tweet. So basically, you basically mint up a Bitminer. You take it to the Foxy platform when it is live, and you'll be able to put your Bitminer on your bitmap. And then once a day, you can go to that miner, and it's actually mining. It's actually mining the TAP token. It's actually mining the Bit Bit Foxy token. If you do have a Cosmic, I actually got alpha on this today. The first 14 days, you're gonna earn a portion of 5,000 USDT. So if you have a cosmic, or you're lucky enough to come here and get a cosmic, because there's only 85 cosmics in the entire set. So if you do have a cosmic, you're going to get a good amount of USDT by staking that cosmic in the Bitfoxy, or I'm sorry, into Foxy's, I think it's foxy.co, into their game. So that's gonna be really cool. You're gonna go to it every day, once a day, and you're gonna see what your miner has mined for you. They're gonna have days where you're gonna get insane amounts, where they're just gonna add a bunch, and there's gonna be days where you get kind of a normal amount. So definitely check, if you do put your cosmic on there, check every single day. And people will say, "Oh, how are they gonna get my USDT address?" I actually asked them this question. They said, when you go to your Foxy miner, it's going to ask you for an address. So you're going to copy an address, put it in there when you withdraw it. So you can do everything is walking up to your Foxy miner. You're going to be able to get all that stuff. So it's pretty big. What do you think about Foxy and their mining stuff?
That's cool. Yeah, I'm not super into DMT or anything like that, but I've heard of this project, and I think it's an interesting interpretation. So like anything, like you can have your disagreements on the tech or the protocol or this or that, but any project, like the Taproot Witches, or building around runes, and it's had its struggle over the last several months, you can build something cool out of anything. CBRC20s, I think, had a cool project or two that popped up that I heard about. So yeah, like this is, mining that meta with RSIC played well, and integrating with Bitmap. I know they're building the game. So yeah, it's cool to just keep building random stuff, and we'll see how it works out. And then they're giving, real assets, to bring you in.
Yeah. And do you like this, to where you can kind of see my cursor? I'm kind of moving my wallet to the one I want and stuff like that. So each one, you have to get lucky because you don't know.
It's kind of the Bitmap meta all over again with OW. Yeah.
Exactly. So they're kind of using that in the way of and the stuff. And Foxy will be doing block drops, I'm hearing as well. Block drop is a new thing that came out as well. So getting these miners, I think, are definitely going to pay off well, especially if you stake it day one. So I'm hearing too that they want to get their indexer going by probably the end of the week, so that way you can go and stake these soon. So obviously there's 5,500 right now, 297. This just opened up an hour ago, so 297 have already sold. So you don't have to rush into this, but if you wanted to get a bunch of them, pick the block that you want and go for it. So, but yeah,
Very
hit
cool.
on that really quickly. And then any more questions? How many cosmics left, I wonder? So I'm pretty sure there's like 40. There's still a really good amount of cosmics left. And then even if the number of bitmap and number of bitminer are different, mining is possible. Do you know what he's saying here? I'm a little confused.
So there's not 800,000 bit miners, right? It's like one of the patterns. So there's like there's like 8,000 or something. Yeah,
it's 8,000, but the blocks that they chose is, I forget the numbers.
But you have to own a bitmap to place it on in the same wallet to get the staking.
Yeah.
So essentially they're making
it doesn't need to be the same number bitmap either. Like you can just get a miner, and if you have bitmap 80, 800,000, 642.
It's a staking condition. You need to own one bitmap. That's how you can think of it.
Exactly. So that's how you get. So when you go to the Bitfoxy, if you just want to play the game, I can go to J25's bitmap and we can shoot each other there. But if I wanted to go to my own bitminer and my own stuff, then I need my own bitmap to use it, and I can go in my bitmap and I can set my bitmap the way I want it to look like. If I want buildings, skyscrapers everywhere, I can do that. Or if I want, like, let's just say like a 1700 feel to where it's all like little shacks and stuff like that, right? So you can do whatever kind of you want to do, like Old West or futuristic stuff or giant New York City style. So your bitmap will look like the way you want it to look, and then all your stuff will there, and then people can go there. Like J25 can come to my bitmap and we can play games there, and he can actually go to my miner, and I think you can actually mine. So you can get some stuff by just coming and visiting my bitminer. So
cool.
But yeah, man. All right, man. Jay, it's been absolutely amazing, dude. I'm gonna kind of let you kind of go for it, bro. I mean, you can kind of say whatever you want, where people can find you or whatever. I know this isn't your first rodeo, so you probably say the same thing every time. So do your thing, bro.
Yeah. Usually on OSD, roaming around the spaces, just having fun out here. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to hopefully everything heating up. I think after the summer, people are in TradeFi, DeFi, etc., ready to get back to business, and the government seems to be wanting to do the government thing. So hopefully it's, you know, Shizzy season for that 700K.
I love that. I love it. Shizzy season. Let's go. But Jay, thank you so much, man. And are you coming back tomorrow?
Yeah, I'll be here tomorrow.
Amazing. All right, check J25 back out tomorrow. And Jay, thank you again, bro.
Cool. Take it easy.
Peace, dude. All right, guys. It's part of the show where I kind of talk about our partners. Check out BitPerp. Like I talked about them earlier, but they are going to be one of the top leading leverage protocols in the space. Check out bitperp.io and look out for probably the next couple of weeks. I'm gonna have a meeting with them on Wednesday, so I'll get you guys all the information about their testnet and how we're going to be able to earn points by leverage trading. Can't wait for that. And then Ordinal Hive, guys. Ordinal Hive is building an aggregator now. So not only are they building on Merlin, but now they're building on L1 and potentially Fractal as well. So check out beta.ordinalhive.io to check out their Merlin, their NFT platform. It's actually amazing. And then obviously they're building an aggregator where you're, instead of you have to go OKX to check out a price, Magic Eden check out a price, and other places you could be able to go to Ordinal Hive alone and get the #1 price using Ordinal Hive. So check that out. Fluid Tokens, they just launched their staking. Talked about them earlier today. They're going to be probably the leading staking platform, in my opinion. So check those guys out. And not only have they have staking, they also have lending and borrowing, and also they have the swaps. So you can actually swap for the rune and then stake it. So check that out. Verothium Dex. They're going to be one of the leading Merlin dexes, in my opinion. You can already stake your BRC 420. So if you have a BRC 420, go to verothiumdex.io and you will be able to stake it there. So check that out. And then Foxy, guys, we talked about them already. Go check out a bit miner. If you are lucky enough to get one of the 85 cosmics, you are going to earn USDT. You're going to earn the TAP token. You are going to earn the B Foxy token, the Bit Foxy token, and much more. Any project that Foxy partners with, you're going to get a piece of their token. So that bit miner not only is going to basically pay for itself in time, but it's something that it's actually looks really cool on your bitmap. It's this giant thing that's just mining into the ground. Really cool. So check them out, guys. And if you wouldn't mind going over and checking out ordinalrevolution.com, we have some of the best articles dating back all the way to last year. If you know someone new entering the space, send them our website. I really feel like these articles can really get them caught up very quickly. And if you are going to Bitcoin Vegas, we will be there. Ordinal Revolution will be there. We're going to throw some kind of party. It's going to be fun. It's next May, so look out for that. But do not wait to get your tickets, because as you've noticed for Bitcoin at Nashville, the tickets were really expensive towards the end and so cheap now. They will go up every single Friday until the event. So if you are going, get them now, guys. Get them now and use our promo code. It helps the show. And on top of that, if you're looking for merch to wear, we have some of the best merch. We know Amsterdam's coming up. We know Dubai's coming up. Go there rocking your Ordinals merch, guys. If you need some, we have some of the best stuff here. School bags, hats, jackets, everything else. And yeah, that's all the shilling I have for today. And we are live, guys, Monday to Friday, 11 a.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Central, 8 a.m. Pacific, and 3 p.m. UTC. Check us out. Over 800 people in here. Guys, it's getting exciting again. I could tell by the viewership. I could tell we were getting 300 people in here in the summer, in August, and now we're getting between 6,000 and 1,000 every single day. You guys are back. You guys are ready to go. This is going to get so exciting. So let's just be patient, though. Let's not rush into things. Be patient. Let's mint. It's mint, like J25 said, it's minting season. Mint everything, even if it's just a couple bucks, because you never know what can 1,000x. Guys, I am ready for this. Stick with Ordinal Revolution. I promise to bring you guys the best alpha I can. If you're looking to join the membership program, we're going to be doing a new membership video this week. We got some outfit in there we're going to have for you guys. So look out for that. Yagobi is back on Wednesday. So it's been tough without him. I've been having to do partner meetings and all this stuff without him. So it's going to be nice to have him back. But I appreciate everyone who's our guest, man. J25 killed it today. I love having him on. I love his perspective. So check him out tomorrow as well. And guys, on that note, in the words of Yagobi, peace.
We OG, or no OG. You're not bullish enough, yeah. Oh no, you're not bullish enough. You ain't got the oh no. I get stoned by the bolo. Bitcoin set to upload, yeah. Experts on reload, yeah. You're not bullish enough, yeah. Oh no, you're not bullish enough. You ain't got the oh no. I get stoned by the bolo. Bitcoin set to upload. Experts on reload. Mempool getting hot. Everybody wanna rock. Hey. Runes is coming, everybody on a night, ayy. It's a nuisance, Ordinal Revolution, ayy. Ordinal Revolution. Yo, it's my guy for real, bro. Got friends right now. Yo, BRC 420, bro. Yo, that shit on fire, bro. Imagine if he in here. Yeah, like it in the seal. Murder. I got balls of steel. Nuki on the field. Yeah, this shit for real. With no calls, I get so far. Got 100 phone calls that I go hard, and they gon' love me. Smoke weed, huddle back. I get shiesty. Where my Bitcoin looking lovely. All this Satoshi's nothing above me.